All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. Another conversation, opposite from the norm. You know how I go. This your boy JTL right here, though.
What's up? This your man HD. What's up? What's up?
Yeah, another long day. Tired than a motherfucker, but we gonna give y'all something. We can't even bullshit around and hold y'all. So we gotta keep giving y'all that content. Also, want to say we hit that 500 mark. They sent us
Yeah,
some
yeah,
stuff from YouTube saying hit the 500. So we appreciate everybody who supporting. And of course, if this is your first time checking us out, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that
yes, subscribe.
hit that
Get our
bell, hit all.
numbers keep coming up.
Make sure you like, comment, and share what's going on. So, H, since you was telling me we should try to be a little more just not so heavy on all the topics too much. Try to kind of split them up a little bit. So you say you wanted to do something that's it's not heavy, but it's important. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let you go ahead and start it off. Go ahead, introduce it and do your thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I picked a topic that we can talk about kind of freely, just amongst us without having to have a whole lot of research. But I'm going to read from an article. The basis of my topic is: do you believe that money can actually buy you happiness? And the two things, well, the number one thing I'm reading from is an article from Fox Business. So you can check that out on foxbusiness.com. But it was another survey that they did, um, surveying certain people and surveying certain people in, certain, excuse me, financial classes and seeing if there is a link between your financial success being linked to your overall happiness. Um, so starting out here, it says that the General Social Survey, which is one of the longest running national representative surveys of U.S. adults, the survey covers 44,198 U.S. adult participants between 1972 and 2016. And it says the results indicate that there is a class divide when it comes to happiness. It says the happiness of white adults with a high socioeconomic status, which includes income, education, and occupational prestige, remain fairly stable. The happiness of white adults with lower socioeconomical status steadily decline, according to the study. And then in a comparison, of course, happiness amongst black adults with lower socioeconomic status remained fairly stable, whereas the happiness of black adults with the high status increased. So, based upon the study and everyone that they interviewed, um, it was on the heavy inside that it's showing that money does bring certain people happiness. And in the study, they asked, you know, questions about like, how do you think things are these days? How do you think the world is? Just certain things that can relate to happiness. And in that poll, it seems like from what they found that more people, the more money that people have, the more happiness that they did. Um, I was trying to find out here the exact um, amount of money. The last poll that they were looking at from one that they did back in 2010 from a Princeton study showed that when you make enough money, which at that time they were looking at least 75,000 a year, the association between your money and happiness is no longer relevant. But that has changed since that last poll that they did back in 2010. So just reading off, that little bit of information, how do you feel on that? If the more money that you have in your pocket brings you more happiness?
Um, I think what it is. think it has to do with age, demographic, and the reason why I say that is because, when you're younger, you can find things to do that make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Versus really need money. And I think the older you get, the more money you need because certain things you want to do that you can't readily do without having some change in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just having like extra $100 on hand every weekend in case you want to do something. So I think it can bring happiness because being able to have more freedom because you have a little change in your pocket to do something or just like what I used to do back in the G was um I would make sure my bills is paid, my fridge got some food in it, and I had like some movies to watch. This before everybody was doing Netflix and everything. I made sure I had some new movies to watch, or some games to play, something like that. So that way I could chill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because even if I was broke, I made sure to take care of my necessities so I still was comfortable. So
And see that
yeah,
right there, what you just
I
said
think so.
about the whole broke thing. I seen a meme, that was, speaking on that about, if you got all your bills paid, you got food in your crib, lights and shit on, got food, excuse me, got clothes, and you ain't really broke. You know what I'm saying? If you're just looking at it from the positive perspective, I think it also goes into, what class that you're in, as they were saying. The what they were saying in 2006, adults who are among the highest earners were 5% more likely to proclaim that they were happy. However, I wish I could have found where they were speaking of, you know, in each class, like the 50,000 and below, 50,000 to 100, and then from 100 to 500,000, because there are stories of people who make a lot of money, but they're still miserable. You know, of course, when you are struggling to find out how you're gonna pay your light bill next week, or if you have four kids, you trying to struggle to feed all of them, that's gonna bring added stress to your life. But sometimes even for the people who have a lot of money, they still don't. They're still not happy because they don't have the inner happiness. There may be their marriage could be broken, or they could have a adult child that hates them, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a thin line when you say, does money bring you happiness? Because there have been times where I've had whatever the largest amount of money I've ever had in my bank account, but I still had other issues and problems, so I wasn't all the way happy. um, I think for me, a lot of the happiness comes from the inside and what's going on in your life and the people that are around you and the problems that you have, as opposed to the money. Because even if you have all your bills paid and you got the extra money in your pocket to go do some of the things, if everything is not correct in your personal life or with your children or whatever, you still are not going to have that happiness.
Man, right now I got like $2 in my pocket, but I'm okay because I just paid my bills. So
Right.
I'm cooling. You know what I'm saying? I still got to get some grub, and then I'll be able to relax and all that good stuff. So I'm cool. I think that's what it is, man. Like when you have to pay bills and stuff, it ain't a good feeling when you like, man, I got to make sure I pay the bills. I got to get up some more money, like that type of stuff. Like the more money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? Because that's some real shit too. So you got to know how to deal with things, have inner peace. Because I don't think. I mean, all right. So because you look at what's going on with the current situation now, the world, it's like you can have all the money in the world. That don't mean you do what you want. It's a lot. You got to wear masks everywhere you go now. You got 6 feet distancing. You got all this stuff. That money don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? So You got to know how to survive. Now, if it was somebody smart with their money, maybe they was like, "Oh, I see this shit coming," and hauled ass and went to another country where they ain't going through the same shit right now. Then that'll be something different. But I don't think we think like that too much no more. You know what I'm saying? We just get like comfortable just because we got a few dollars in our pocket, and then what we was talking about the other night. We want to stay here behind enemy lines because we so cool with this bullshit.
Right.
So I think, if you got your money, just do your best to be smart about it because money ain't the be all as well. And
And
if that ain't
sometimes when
all,
you
you probably
when you do come into some money, like you said with the whole bills thing, like a lot of times you may think like, all right, so I'm gonna stack this paper, but then you gotta pay this, you gotta pay that. You may have student loans, you may have this bill, you may have some things that you behind in or in debt to, and you pay all that off, and then that money that you were saying that you was gonna stack up, that shit's going quick, you know. Um, you may have been able to get a little bit of the monkey off your back, but that money that you was planning on saving is gone. It's going just that quick. So I just think for me, it's the inner peace thing. Like you said, if all my bills paid and I got food, lights on, and I don't got nobody nagging me, and I ain't beefing with nobody, um, you know, that type of happiness right there is cool because then I could be chilling. I don't have to worry about, getting in no argument with nobody. I don't have to worry about hearing no one's mouth, and I could just be cooling. So, like I said, there's some millionaires who are like, effed up. Like, I hate to bring it up, but like, you know, um, rest in peace to him. But like Robin Williams, when he committed suicide, I'm just bringing that up of an example of someone who's very, very rich but had some inner demons within where it made him, take his life. And there are a lot of people, not just to say an actor, but just a lot of people. Period. You can have like a successful attorney who makes 1 million a year, or 2 million a year, whatever, and he could be miserable as fuck, and you would be like, "Damn, I wish I had this life," but you don't know what's going on with him on the inside. A lot
mm,
of people just want the money so that they can do all this stuff that we see now. Go on Instagram, flash, basically try to down other people. Like, yo, I'm out here on this boat, on this cruise, and you can't do it. You can't be like me. So a lot of people just want money for that perspective. They want money for the wrong reasons, and then they get happy because they can, quote unquote, stun on people, and that's what brings them their happiness, being able to put other people down instead of bringing other people up. So that's what I also see a lot in this world, based upon just seeing things online on the internet, seeing what makes certain people happy. So yeah, I can say if they're doing a study on just certain people, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of those answers of, yeah, I'm more happy when I got money because that allows people to do and say evil things.
mm, yeah, I can see that. But I don't think I don't know. I just think it's because we don't know how to be wealthy in certain ways because it's not just having that IOU green slip, but it's also building. Like I would say like farmers, like even though they make a lot of money off farming, I'm sure they happy because a lot of them usually be happy not just because they got their money, but they're doing something that they passionate about. Like that's another thing people gotta think about. Are you doing something that makes you happy? Because not everybody needs to make a whole heap of money to be happy.
Right.
You got some people that's cool with if they never really make $1 million at one time, but they might be still making 6 figures a year, and but they have more financial freedom than a lot of other people. That's just like when I watch Dame Dash shit, and he talks about it. Like I respect where he comes from on certain things, and him getting more mature instead of being an asshole like he used to be, and realizing to invest in yourself and your family is what brings real grown people happiness. You know what I'm saying? Besides just, oh, I got a better watch than yours, my chain realer than yours, and all of that bullshit. Like that don't mean nothing. That's just like when I heard Jay-Z on that song "What's Free" and he, my house bigger than yours, this blase squad. It's like, who cares? Like even though Jay might got a lot of money than a lot of white people, bruh, they still can be more happier than you because they're white. So they see the light. They don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Is that
And
what I'm
that's
saying? If you white, you gonna be all right.
yeah. So and him thinking that he good because he got more money, but look at all the shit that you go through. You know what I'm saying? Just to keep a couple dollars and shit in your pocket, it ain't worth it. Shit not
And I
worth it.
think also, um, with when they were saying, asking black versus white, about happiness, I feel like that's something else that you can go a little deeper into because let's say, you take a black man who didn't come from everything. He didn't have the family business passed down to him, or he didn't have money passed down from his parents or whatever. He's a black man that graduated high school, had to take out student loans, had to struggle and scratch until he's 50 years old. And then finally at age 50, he got a house, got a pretty nice car, things like that, because he had to make it from the bottom, go through different trials and tribulations. I think that type of happiness is definitely way different than the white kid who graduates high school, has stuff handed down to him, can go to college, don't got to take out no loans, gets out of college, already got jobs lined up based upon his father or his uncle or his granddad knowing somebody, and he's thrust into at age 25 a job where he's making 400,000 a year right out of college, as opposed to the black man who gets out of college but can't find any jobs, even though he has a bachelor's degree, and he got to go take, a job at a call center, and move around, like I said, until he's 50 before he comes out on top. I think that's a different type of happiness because it's like, yo, look at all I had to go through. Look at all the struggle, all the years I went through to get here now. I think that's a different type of happiness.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I agree with you on that, man. I feel you on that, my brother.
Well, yeah, that was just my little topic to kind of bring some perspective to a lot of things that's going on, because also with a lot of things that's going on in this world, a lot of it does have to do with your status and maybe the money that you may have, because sometimes in certain situations where it could be a young black man, a black woman that's killed for no reason by the cops or whatever, their family may be in a different situation than as opposed to a white family who may have a lot of money to get certain attorneys, or who may have connections and they may know a judge, or they may be friends with the judge. You know what I'm saying? Kind of how with that piece of shit Zimmerman, you know I forgot what the relationship was, but someone in his family, his mom or dad or somebody, was friends with a judge or an attorney or whatever. Those are
Uh-huh.
connections. You know what I'm saying? Those are connections. And, if a young black man who's 21 years old gets shot down by the cops, his family may not know a judge. His family may not know an attorney. They may not even have enough money to hire a high powered lawyer. So in that instance, if they had money, yeah, they would be happy, because then they would be able to pay for that high powered lawyer to bring some justice for their son that just died. So looking at that and just thinking about that, it was bringing a lot of perspective to me, especially with everything that's going on and how money can help some people's situations and make them happy in some kind of way.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. You got money, then you got well, you still can deal with classism, and definitely still deal with racism.
Yeah, I definitely feel the happiness is different, depending on your class. Like I said, some people who make less than 50,000 a year, them making it to that second class where they're between 50 and 90, that's all the happiness that they need. Whereas opposed to someone else would be like, yo, 50,000 ain't shit. Or fuck that. But to some people, that would bring enough happiness to them where they would be okay. You know what I'm saying? So that, depending on what class you in, also plays a big factor in, how happy you are with, the money that you have.
Oh, yeah. Especially that racism gonna come in that shit too.
Yeah, definitely. But
Even
yeah,
though when
if
I did,
you,
my bad,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. No, I
No,
was
go ahead.
just gonna say if you know, we try to, point you out to the things that we're looking at, but as I said, there was an article that I was looking at on that was on foxbusiness.com, and then um, you can also find some information on that article from complex.com. They had a little piece in regards to that story from the foxbusiness.com, and then also within the Fox Business article, they had some information also from the Washington Post. So you can find some more information on the article "Money Actually Can Buy Happiness." Study finds in WashingtonPost.com too.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Did you good on your topic? Did you want to speak anything else on that?
Oh no, that was good.
Okay, cool, cool. All right. So I guess we're gonna get to mine. I wanted to try to give something that was, a little lighthearted people can think about. Like my thing is the TV shows. What's y'all favorite old black TV shows? What's your favorite black TV shows? Because nowadays they got so much trash and garbage on TV to the damn shame. Don't nobody want to see no damn 800 Tyler Perry TV shows where every show ain't nothing but a black man ain't shit and a black woman married to a white man to get over. We're getting tired of seeing all of that bullshit that they trying to put on us. Like we just some
This
nasty
blended
dirt.
family shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's always that because you got that one show where we was talking about it. Now I used to watch Saved by the Bell. Don't hold it against me, but they
Oh,
got
with Zach
Zach
Morris with
Morris.
the
Yeah,
black
with the black girl.
girls.
Mm-hmm. Then you got
Man,
the
come on, don't talk about that right now. I'm trying to have a little midnight snack. You gonna make me throw up my food.
you ain't supposed to be eating while we on the show anyway, motherfucker. Unprofessional. Anyways, then you got the one show that Tyler Perry made where the black you got the white president with the black first lady. That's some trash
Yeah,
right there too.
yep.
So it's like you like, man, I don't want to see that bullshit. What happened to the good old motherfucking show like Good Time or the Jeffersons or Martin or In Living
Well, the
Color?
Jeffersons was the first one that I thought of, being that dealt with some real issues, that dealt with some real topics, that dealt with racism, that dealt with a black man that, back at that time, it wasn't where a black man could, be in that position to have that wealth, to live where he lived, and to also have it reversed, where he's a black man with money having white people working for him, as opposed to the other way around, where it's just black people being maids and bellhops for the white people. So that show brought a lot of different topics, and it also touched on love. Even though George was a grouch or whatever, he still was a very good husband to his wife. He was very faithful to her. That was something that was a big part of that show. He was faithful to her. He never stepped out. He took his marriage very serious. They had a son on the show, Lionel. They showed, you know, different lessons with parenting and things like that. So a show like that to me was very monumental, even though I was watching that as a kid coming up. Now that I'm an adult, I can really appreciate the episodes and the show as an entirety of what they was talking about and what they was bringing to the table, and just highlighting like that show could have been an inspiration too. Like, yo, just because you black, that doesn't mean you can't own your own business. That doesn't mean you can't live in a penthouse and have money and be a boss. So I think that show not only touched on family, it touched on racism, and it also touched on being an inspiration. So that show is like at the top, one of at the very top for me.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing. Then you go to the '90s. You had, like I said, to me, Martin was very pivotal because you had, you had three young brothers, two young sisters. Everybody had good jobs, except for Tommy. We didn't know what the fuck he did, but
Hey, Tommy had money though.
Tommy kept money though. Everybody was always dressed nice. You see them going out doing things. They always dealt with a lot of problems too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that was always a beautiful thing. But they always reminded you of people around the way. You know what I'm saying? Like brothers and sisters, around the way. It wasn't so terrible. It wasn't just so thugged out, but it was strong. Black people like Martin. You know what I'm saying? Like he carried it to me in that tone of James and George, and you know what I'm saying, and Fred Sanford, like a strong brother who handle his business, take care of his family, but there for his peoples and his community. You know what I'm saying, and not scared. Like what, no matter who they dealing with, they got their chest out and their head up. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
That was the perfect example of strong brothers. And then just like you brought to the situation, like think about it. Now, crazy as it may seem, um, gotta remember, Fred Sanford, what was he? He was a single father.
Single father. Yeah. Then
You feel what I'm saying? It
I didn't
wasn't
want
no
to.
shows where it was just a bunch of single mothers.
Right. I didn't want to start off with that because anybody who knows me knows that Sanford and Son is my. There would never be a TV show that would be better than Sanford and Son to me. I know every single word of every episode from season one through five. 5 and 6, I ain't really too much care for, but I still watch. But seasons 1 through 4, the best TV show ever. And as you said, it's a single father, but beyond just the comedy, because it was the funniest show I've ever seen in my life. But it was the love factor. No matter what they went through, they loved each other as father and son, and they went through the struggle together. When they got money together, they stuck by each other. They didn't leave each other's side. They may have their little dust ups, but the whole show was about love. And then later on in those other seasons, when they opened up the Sanford Arms, he still showed love to the people he was renting out rooms to. Even though he would battle on Esther, they still would come together at some point and show each other love. And that show also dealt with racism too. So
Mhm.
those are two shows that are my favorites from back in the day that not only had the humor and the family part of it and the love, but it also dealt with real deal facts of the times and the days of dealing with racism and facing it head on and not being afraid to say, hey, we black people, we strong. We not gonna take your bullshit.
And we there for each other. Like and I think that's what's missing a lot. Now, I'm not saying that things haven't changed and people right from their perspective is wrong. But what I am saying, just like like I was watching binge watching Dr. Umar Johnson this morning, and I know things went haywire with that situation, but it's a lot of things that he said that resonated with these TV shows. If you look at what he said about the black family and the structure of it, and you got, sadly enough, though, you got a lot of black people that combat him on it. They'll say they agree, but then say, "Oh, but we still can do this. We still," and it's like, nah, you don't get it. If we really want to save the black families, then we have to combat the things that are fucking it up. So when you look at the Wayans brothers, saying another one of our favorite black shows from back in the '90s. You had Pops, God rest his soul. You had Pops, John Witherspoon playing Pops, they Pops, and he was always there for his sons. You know what I'm saying? Like That's important for people to see, and we unsubconsciously don't realize how important it was to it. Just like when people heard that the brother, I forget his name escapes me right now, but the brother that played Uncle Phil, God rest his soul, when he passed, a lot of people were like, Uncle
James
Phil,
Avery.
James Avery, right? Thank you, God rest his soul. When he passed, a lot of people was like, oh man, Uncle Phil passed. You know what I'm saying? Because you seen, in that situation, sometimes, when it got to the 90s, they started showing things about single mothers here and there, but it still showed that the family dynamic was there to take care of each other, just like the Cosbys. Even though, you had the lawyer and the doctor, which a lot of black people never really seen, which it did exist, because if you look at Grant Hill, his parents were lawyers and doctors. So, but when they had the one cousin, Pam, came over there, they took her in. You know what I'm saying? So they still showed that dynamic of families being there, and these shows were still funny. They still was hilarious. It didn't make you feel so bad about, a lot of goofy shit. Like, I heard Ari Spears try to talk shit about Martin, but I like, he kissed my ass, because you was on Mad TV and there was a lot of buffoonery on that shit. So you can miss me with that shit. Martin was just silly,
And
but
my
it
thing
still had
is,
real shit.
it's when someone like him says something, everybody uses this word loosely, but him saying something about Martin, that is the definition of what the fuck a hater is. Because
Right.
when you look at Martin, all the stuff we just said, and you hit everything on point, talking about the way they dress. It was young people who dressed nice, who had jobs, who took care of themselves, who took care of each other, who had money in their pocket, who was trying to move up in the world. Because the role that Gina played, she was always trying to get the corner office or getting promotions. You know what I'm saying? Moving up in her company, and then eventually Pam started doing the same thing. Martin was always trying to go from just being a local DJ on the radio to try to have a national show. When he got his little TV show and everything, so he was constantly trying to move up in the world too. So for Ari Spears to say, "Oh man, it was buffoonery on that show," you stupid motherfucker! It's a comedy show.
Right.
Yes, they're gonna speak on real topics, but guess what? You still got to get ratings. You still
Mhm.
gotta keep an audience. So you can't just have the whole show be so fucking serious on every episode and be serious through the whole fucking thing. You gotta have some comedy. You gotta laugh. That's a part of life. That's what keeps us going when we're down. Some people will watch Martin to bring themselves up. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They could be having a bad day, turn on Martin. He have with Shanae or some shit, or the episode we always talk about with the fucking rat when they went on that vacation. I'm
Yeah, that,
smiling
that's
right
that's the
now.
one they
I'm
called out, talking about something. It was
I'm
buffoonery. I was
I'm
like, that shit was funny
just
to me.
talking about that just made me smile right now. Like that show did a lot for people back in the '90s. So him saying that, he's just a fucking hater, and he can miss me with that shit because guess what? They may not have owned. I don't know how it is about if they own the rights or whatever, but guess what? That was an all black cast, and the
Mhm.
show that Ari Spears was heavily, heavily white. And this was an
Yeah,
all black cast that was on a major network pulling in great numbers. So
yeah, they was
Ari
playing in Empire
Spears,
now.
Ari Spears can go jump off a bridge with his bitch ass.
Yeah, because he a hater, just like you said. Look at the show he was on. He really didn't contribute nothing to the black experience coming up back then.
Exactly.
Like,
Martin did
like
a lot for the
then
black
you gotta
experience.
think. You gotta think about those episodes when they show about Martin as a young black man trying to learn how to take marriage seriously. And you know what I'm
Right.
saying, moving
How
to
to
the
treat a
next step.
woman, how to talk to a
Exactly.
woman.
And then when he started going through when they had those episodes at the same time when he was trying to get, come up in the world, figure out what he was gonna do career wise. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like that, but they was able to still
That's
keep it fun.
relatable.
Yeah. And they was able to still keep it funny, just like when the one where he was the postman, he quit. And then Gina was like, "Baby, how you gonna quit with all the people mail?"
All
He
the
said, "That ain't
male, right?
nobody mail. That's my bills,
That's my
man."
bills.
And you were like, "Look at this notice. Don't let me catch your ass in the street notice, man. That's for mama." Like he always like they always gave him credit. They were like, yo, he's a comedic genius, and you have to give him that.
And
You
you
know what I'm
know what
saying?
else he showed when you just spoke about that on I think it was on that same episode where he took the job buffering the floors. Wasn't that
Hmm.
on the same episode?
Hmm.
So he also is showing like, hey, you know what? I might have to humble myself. I may have to take this lower level job right now until I get back on my feet. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's relatable. That's something that some of us may have had to go through where you have a black man who may have I know people who had a good job making 70,000 a year, then the company does layoffs and you just gotta get a job for the time being, to have money in your pocket. So you go from making 75,000 a year down to making $10 an hour. You know what I'm saying? That's relatable.
And I
And
think that then you got, like I said, the Wayans brothers. When I found out Bill Cosby was shitting on them, I was like, why? You got two young brothers at like 22, 23 years old trying to make it in New York City. But you're not looking at the positives. They dad was a small business owner. They
right,
was a small business
right,
owners. You know what I'm saying? So you got a brother that owned his own diner that, you know what I'm saying, was a historical landmark in New York City. And then you got his sons who owned a small newsstand. And think about it. Pops brought him and his wife brought their house, and then Sean and Marlon was able to pay their bills and make it through life. And then Marlon became an actor, and then
right.
he had some success. So
I
he
mean,
he
how
wasn't
can you
looking
shit
at
on
that.
that? That's like the
Now,
American
and
dream
then
right
think about
there.
hold on, but then think about this. Like certain episodes, they had awareness episodes. Like remember that one, the Black Token episode, where the
Right.
I
Yep, where
played
Sean
Sean.
was the token. Hmm.
Yeah, and he didn't play that. He called the boss man out for that. He didn't play
Right.
that. Then the episode with Marlon, this cold white actor had
With the
got him to take
drugs.
drugs.
Hmm.
Yeah, then they showed on that drugs is not cool. Like these are
Right.
the different things they showed on the episode. Then they showed on that one episode where Sean was trying to move up by class, and Marlon and Dupree and TC got him to come back to being humble. Because remember, they tried to play Pops. Like Pops was an old
Right.
coon, and then Pops knew how to play the damn violin. So they had episodes like that. It was just they was goofy, but you know what I'm saying? These are the like Fresh Prince, these were hip hop type shows, like with Martin and Living Single. You know what I'm saying? Like Living Single was another show. You had four sisters and two brothers. One sister owned her own newsstand. One brother was a successful banker. Another sister was a successful lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like you had and they, you know what I'm saying, was good friends. They was always there for each other. They didn't show each other bad in a bad light when it came to black people. You know what I'm saying? So all these shows help mold us to want to do more. And I give Cosby credit for coming up with a different world for college. You know what I'm saying? That made a lot of young black people go to college. That and Spike Lee movie, School Days. So these things help to unsubconsciously move us to wanting to do better. And it was a blessing from God that, you know what I'm saying, you had people that was trying to take things into their own hands. Like a lot of these people were their own executive producers. Queen Latifah was an executive producer on Living Single. Martin was his own executive producer. Bill Cosby was an executive producer. You know what I'm saying? The Wayans brothers, they was executive producers. So when you look at all these black shows, you got to give them their props because they was black executives. So a lot of shows we don't like now, at least they are keeping that. You know what I'm saying? Like with Shawnee O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal wife, she's an executive producer. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Perry is too. But it's just the messages they sending. You got all these sisters, and Shawnee is the only successful one, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Because she owns the show. Then it got to a point where she's no longer on Basketball Wives, if I'm not mistaken, from the last I heard. So, but you got all these sisters who come together and they only relevant because of who their husbands are or boyfriends are. You know what I'm saying?
Or
So
because they get on TV and act a fucking fool.
that's what I'm saying. So now instead of them finding their own way, they own a TV show acting a fool, drinking all the time, fighting and cursing all the time. And then, you know what I'm saying? The one thing Eric Spears did say was funny. He was like, what's that show called? Lucky Bitches. That's right. So you got these sisters out here acting a fool, just like on Love and Hip Hop. A lot of these sisters ain't really relevant. You know what I'm saying? They only come on there and relevant because of the dudes they dating. And then kind of find out a lot of them heifers don't even be dating these dudes for real. It be fake scenarios. Like Turk from Hot Boys, if y'all remember Turk from Hot Boys, he was on the Breakfast Club a few years ago, something like 2, 3 years ago, and he was talking about how when they Mona Scott, who's the a black female producer of the show, executive producer. Like I said, it's great they keeping those titles. God bless you. But their idea was, from what he said, they wanted to bring in some fake female to make it seem like he was having an affair on his wife. And he was like, I would never play my wife like that. We already had issues that we had to make it through. Why would I come out and put out and make fake news to seem like it's something really going on in our relationship? I wouldn't disrespect my wife like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem that you have nowadays, the way we are allowing ourselves to make look bad. Like when Monique said boycott Netflix, she should have thrown in Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, Real Housewives of Atlanta. She should have threw all that shit in there, because that all that shit is what makes us look bad. You know what I'm saying? So when people say what they say, and you know, a lot of people, sadly, in this world, especially in this country, don't do their research. So if you see, just like we be talking about on the show, when they be talking about how many black people get killed by the police, it doesn't matter. So now you got a situation where they watch these TV shows and they hear that rhetoric, then they believe it. So it's not like it was when we was fighting to show true good identity and what we wanted for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? That it didn't make any sense. So that's why I brought this topic up, is that, you know, we need to bring those back. And like I you know, I ain't gonna put it all the way out there, but like a couple ideas I ran across you on why we need to, the idea I was telling you about, God, when I want to create, is because it's missing nowadays of showing good brothers and sisters who trying to do something with their life. And you know, it's like, if you ain't ratchet as a black person, then you ain't from around the way. And and that's why I brought up the example of Martin, is because when you look at Martin, they wasn't ratchet, but they was from around the way. Like you are Martin, I'm surprised he ain't say shit motherfucker on that show. He cussed so much on that damn show. You know, they all there. Like when something happened, they be like, oh my damn. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a good show, but these were brothers and sisters working to get somewhere. And you seen they didn't play around with getting their hands dirty. They was like, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna put some elbow grease into it, and I'm gonna work hard to get what I'm trying to get in life. So I think that's what we missing a lot on these TV shows. You know,
And we can't forget to touch on Good Times either. I know we may have mentioned the name, but Good Times, of course, was definitely a landmark show. I mean, I watched it, of course, up until when James died at the end of season three. I mean, I still watched some of the episodes after that, but the first three seasons was the best by far. But that show definitely represented the black family, the black culture back in those days, and a lot of the topics that they touched on back then are still relevant today. You know, like you said, they had episodes dealing with drug use, teen pregnancy, you know, different things like that that they touched on back then that may have been ahead of their time. But if you look at it now in 2020, it's things that we can relate to, and it showed the black father. Once again, another show that we're talking about, a strong black father that did any and everything he could to be there for his family, to raise his kids in a certain way. They didn't have a lot of money. That goes back into the last conversation about money bringing happiness. They didn't have a lot of money at all, but they still, the name of the show, Good Times, they still celebrated. They still had great happiness amongst each other. They still partied. They still loved each other. You know, even though it was hard when it was time for prom or whatever, they may not have had enough money, but they still made it work. So that show right there definitely represented what a strong black family should look like. And the wife always standing by James' side no matter what. If James lost his job, if James whatever, no matter what James went through, she had his back and she was never turning her back on him. And the kids were very respectful of the mother, very respectful of that dad. They may have had a little bit of fear of their dad, but they still loved him, and they still, they looked at him as their friend as well. So that show definitely is something that's missing from today. There's no show that I can think of any time within now the last 10 years that can represent what Good Times did. And I don't think we'll ever see a show that hits like Good Times did. I personally don't think so.
Yeah, because I don't think they want that to be shown on TV no more. Like this is the thing people got to realize. We had to fight to get shows on air,
Right.
and a lot of the times, come to find out, even in the height of their careers, they was ending a lot of these shows and then putting on white shows
And
because
why
they
you think James left? Not to cut you off, but what you just said, that's why James left. That's why they killed him off at the end of season 3, because James was fighting behind the scenes to keep the show black.
mm,
The writers and the producers was trying to do certain things, and James was like, look, this is a black show. You can't tell us, the black people, of how to represent the black people. You're not black. You can't tell us how it is in the hood, in the community, because this is us. And James just said, you know what? I ain't taking this shit no more. I'm out. So that showed you even too that he was standing up for our people. He stood up for our people so much that he left the show.
another thing is when you look at Living Single, that was on a year before the show Friends came on, and
Right.
I didn't pay attention to that. I was younger, but they was breaking it down. The brothers on this from the show Living Single was breaking it down. Was like that was a slap in the face. You know what I'm
I
saying?
seen
So
that. It was kind of like they stole
yeah,
the idea.
yeah, they stole the idea. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at the synopsis of it, you got some guys staying in an apartment across from apartment of females. The guys have successful jobs. The females have successful jobs. They live in New York. They live in the same apartment building. You know what I'm saying? Like it they copied. One guy fell in love with one girl across the hallway. You know what I'm saying? Like you look at these things, it's like it's too much of a coincidence that you can name those 3, 4 things I just named the same thing. Like I said, one of the guys from across the hallway fell in love with one of the girls across the hallway. Then you know what I'm saying they live in the same apartment building across from each other in the apartments. The guys have successful jobs, the females have successful
The
jobs.
whole concept, pretty much.
They it takes place in New York. You know what I'm saying? So it like they copied the whole fucking thing. And one of the guys from Friends was like, he didn't know that's what was going on. He didn't think nothing about it. Of course, you're not gonna think nothing about it. You just getting a job. And but see, this is where you break down systemic racism and implicit biasness because you don't know because you so bottled up in your own world you don't pay attention to these things, and that's pretty much what I'm saying how they played it. That's how they did it, and what I'm saying unfortunately that's what it hurt because the guy that played Kyle, he ended up leaving the show for the same reason that my boy damn, what
John
is that,
Amos.
John Amos left. He ended up leaving the show for the same reason because he was fighting for them to keep it black. Don't try to throw all that bullshit in there. This is our narrative. This is what we putting together for the show. You know what I'm saying? Working with the writers and executive producing and managing the show. It's a successful show. If it ain't broke, why are you trying to fix it? And that's the issue. Like you have too much of that shit going on. So nowadays, like I said, it's unconscious and we don't want to realize what it is. And the problem is, since the beginning of black people being able to do something in this country under white people's thumb, we keep thinking that once we get successful, that it ain't what people trying to make it. It's totally different. That's when you not intact with your culture no more. When you make a little money, and then now you get disconnected from who you are and where you came from, and then you become Terry Crews.
Oh Jesus, you had to bring him up, man.
Uh, that's the you talking about all lives matter. that I'm just keeping it funky, man. I'm just keeping it real. Like that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's always been like that. And people are too blind to see it because they want to be able to be, good. So they don't want to rock the boat. They want to keep getting pat on the forehead like Stephen A. Smith. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because his hairline touches his neck. The back of you want to pat on the forehead. So that's that's what it is, man. But like I said, man, I miss those good shows too. It ain't no more good shows, man. That's why you got brothers out
That's
here
why
with
we still watch them. That's why we go on in the year 2020 and watch TV shows from the 70s all these years later because they're the shows that touch us and reflect us. And you can. Some people may say, "Oh well, y'all just like that just because y'all from that era." No, 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 no. I have a 4-year-old son just born 4 years ago, even though it's kind of risky for me having him, but I be showing him episodes of Sanford and Son. He be liking it. He be laughing. Of course, he's 4. He don't get the whole concept or
uh,
whatever, but he sits there. He be laughing. He be repeating lines from it. My uncle used to have my little cousin Mariah watching Sanford and Son. She's from this generation because she's just now a college freshman, so she's younger. She watching Sanford and Son with him
but
and
but
enjoyed it.
try us like that because our favorite show used to be Power. So they can't say
Why are
you
you
know
giving away my shit? Don't be telling people I watched that show, man. Damn.
we used to talk about that shit all the fucking all after the
Damn.
on Sunday. We talking about that
Ain't
shit.
telling my business.
So people can't try us because that used to be our shit. You know what I'm saying? We it's certain things we like, but we be a little more picky because we see the bullshit quick and easy. Like you can tell when somebody can act or can't act. You can tell when they
Hmm.
write from a good perspective or not. So it's not like you know what I'm saying. It's not like we reaching. It's the doggone truth. It's a lot of shit nowadays, man. It's just fucking garbage. It's boo boo. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
everything that's popular now, as you pointed out earlier, is the reality shit. Back in those days, the most popular thing was the Cosby Show. There wasn't no cussing on the Cosby Show. Wasn't all that back when Jefferson, Sanford and Son, Good Times, even a little bit after that, like you said, with Martin, Living Single, and the Wayans brothers. It wasn't all that, but now the top shows that you see with black people on it got motherfuckers cussing, motherfuckers fighting, women on there spreading gossip about who slept with who husband and throwing champagne on each other. That's the number one shit right now. Is all that reality garbage. So
and that's
yes,
fake. It's a setup. That's the
right.
crazy thing about it. So when I hear
It
people
ain't even
talk
real.
shows, they be like, "Oh, such about to get into it with such and such next episode." It's like the show is fake. They end up
Strictly.
the only reason why the fights be real, semi-real, is because they put a lot of people around each other in rooms and dealing with each other that would not deal with each other in real life, but
Right.
for that they willing to deal with it. So
And then
that's
by them acting for so long, they start to actually not like the other person that they're acting with.
hmm So, but I mean, it's just shameful, and this, like I said, it messes with the psyche. So for all these sisters, this is like what we talk about. Any sister that like these TV shows, and I know black
Mm,
women gonna be mad. Any sister
mm.
that like these bullshit TV,
I know plenty of them personally.
if you a good brother, don't fuck with females that like them TV shows
Mm,
because
preach it.
they put themselves in that TV show. Like you said, it's relatable. So females
Oh,
that watch the show
I
because they
watch this
relate
because it's
to it.
entertainment. That's the only
Nope.
motherfucking entertainment you can find.
You know what that means. They watch it just like you said. They watch it because it's relatable. And most females think being a nasty bitch is cute. They think that shit is cute. So that's
And
why
then you think about this. I'm sorry I got to do this, but I got to go there. And then like with the what is the shit the Housewives of Atlanta with Nene Leaks with her mannish looking ass and what's I don't even know the bitches' names, but anyway, when you see that right, and they be on there, they always bragging about how much money they got. They got Range Rover. They got $5,000 shoes on. They purse cost $10,000, but they on TV acting ratchet, acting a fool, using foul language, spreading rumors and gossip. You know what that does? White people watch those shows and be like, "Well, damn, this is how black people act when they get money."
mm-hmm.
This is it, because the white people, they already got money, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, okay, so they watch it, and the ignorant motherfuckers who may like it be like, oh ho ho, but for the most part, 70 to 80% of white people, if they come by this show or they see something online about it, they're like, so this is what happened when those niggers get money. They don't even know how to act. They gotta act a fool. So not only is the stuff ignorant and shameful, it makes us look bad, and it's painting a picture of falseness. That's not really how black people act when they get money. That's how niggers act. It's a difference. Black people, there's a lot of sophisticated black people who have money who don't act like that. It's the ignorant niggers who act that way, and they're painting a picture, and it gives that they put us in one little bucket. You know what I'm saying? They say that right there on the Atlanta Housewives, that's how all black women act when they get money, which is not true. That's what it does. It puts that stain on us. And why do we need that stain on us? But they're putting it to us.
Ourselves. That's what makes it so bad. That's why it pissed me off when you have people that will try to make it seem like they're doing so well as a black person, and then they put the bad image out there. Then they want to try to turn around and try to whitewash it and say it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
Okay, so Remy Ma didn't have to go to court for real for putting hands on that chick. Yeah, she went to court for real for putting hands on that chick, bro. Like, you got some real situations that came out of a fake ass TV show. You got some real fucked up situations that came out of these TV shows, and people try to act, you know what I'm saying, especially personal business, because people trying to, like Carly Red with her old ass. Bitch, you about
Ain't
years
she like
old
75?
and you out here acting like you 20 something. Like, this is another thing people got to think about when they watch these shows. Gee, all these people are our age or way older. At 30 something, you have to be setting a responsible example, because then the youth will work on changing their ways as they get older. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they looking at people that's our age and way older than us acting a fool like that, they gonna think they can stay that same way. Don't believe that whole 30 and 40 is the new 20. No, the fuck it ain't. It's the same old 30 and 40 on your driver's license, motherfucker. It is, you is not, you getting older, man. You just have to accept that. But it's a way to do it with class and dignity, man. You gotta have your principles intact, your morals intact. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stand for something. You can't be sitting around here just want to be in your second childhood for the rest of your life, man. Because you're gonna still keep doing stupid shit. That's like Stevie J. When I did watch that shit,
Stevie.
I just watched him laugh because he's just stupid. I know he in his early.
That fool is funny.
He used to have me laughing, but I just couldn't watch it no more, man. You already knew what was gonna happen every time. You knew what they was gonna say, what they was gonna do. And me, I get real bored when I see the same shit too much like that. It gotta be something different, you know what I'm saying? Something creative. After a while, it gets redundant, you know what I'm saying? And I just can't do it no more. I can't do it no more.
Can't do it,
So
brother. Can't do it.
yeah. So yeah, so that was our topics where we had to spit some game on to y'all real quick. Now we ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. Been a long day. Tired than the motherfucker. Gotta get up in the morning, God willing, and do it all over again,
Do it
man.
all over again. I gotta go
Yeah.
sit behind this computer, sit behind this laptop and this monitor and crunch numbers all day long.
Yeah, so but it's all good, man. We enjoy being able to do this to balance it out. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and let y'all go. But before I do that, once again, make sure y'all like, share, comment. If it's your first time checking us out, make sure you definitely subscribe. And again, appreciate y'all for helping to push those numbers. I know a lot of other shows got hundreds of thousands, even millions of subscribers, but we appreciate the ones we got. And
Right.
God, we want to keep bringing y'all better content because we appreciate y'all. I don't care what nobody say. If say we wanted to go do a live show right now and interact with the audience. If all 500 people came out to show love and support, that is a successful show. So
Right.
we can never take that for granted. We thankful to God and y'all. So we're gonna
That's
go
right.
ahead and hit on that note, and we definitely gonna get at y'all with some more content, man. You already know how it goes. This your boy JTL right here. Fuck with me.
What's up? What's up? I'm out. This your boy HD, and as I always say, bow down to a P.
Be right. All right then, y'all. We can fuck with y'all.